What is happening, guys? Jermaine Man Matt from the DFS 5 pack, rocking it solo Sunday, August 29th. My wife is already on my ass this morning. We got company coming over shortly, so I'm going to try to get through this as fast and furious and to get the write-up out and then go deal with her. Yeah, thanks to Ryan for covering last night. Hopefully everyone had a good night. He was right. I was wrong. Lance Lynn was trash. Edmundo Sosa was amazing. Hopefully some of you guys faded Lynn and used Sosa and had a good night. I had one lineup that cashed in an Angel stack, but other than that, pretty weak night for me over here. Excited to get back after it today. Let's dive in. So pitching options are pretty weak for sure. We just don't have great options on this slate. As far as I'm concerned, the top two guys are the top two guys on the slate. Not that they're the safest options in the world, but Cease coming off a really good start. We know he is riskier than we'd like at 10K, but his upside is really second to none on this slate, as evidenced by the DK points him and Molly, the other top guy, are averaging. Molly's been so much better on the road. He gets a really about as big of a ballpark upgrade as you can get here. I like Molly and Cease a lot. I mean, these are the two guys that stand out to me. I think they're the two guys that I want to roster if I can get there. Desclafani, no thanks, not in this spot. Greinke, I think is fine. I mean, he just doesn't have the strikeout upside for a 9,300 guy. But if you're playing on like Cease failing and Molly, doing Molly-like things, I could see using Greinke as a pivot. Same with Barrios. He has not been good lately. Was awful against the Angels, not good against the Nationals, got rocked at the beginning of that White Sox game. He's not been great on the road. I don't want to pull up the splits because it's messed up with him only pitching a couple starts in Toronto. I could see using him here. Again, I don't feel safe about it. He hasn't been good in 3 starts, but this is a pretty good matchup. Detroit, we know, can strike out a ton against righties. And it's not like I mentioned Cease and Molly are the safest plays in the world. So he's right on that short list with those guys. Hendricks, no. Bumgarner, nah. I mean, the Phillies lineup is pretty weak. I can't do it. Eli Morning, no. I always do that, Eli Morning. Eli Morgan, no thanks. Tanner Houck, interesting. GPP viable. Like that he threw 90 pitches. He's gone 89 plus in 2 out of his past 3. He's got real upside. Now, he's got to pitch really well, and the Red Sox have to give him that length, which for both to happen, you never know when both are going to happen. But I don't mind the matchup against Cleveland. I mean, Eovaldi was good yesterday. Erod was pretty good, even though he didn't get any strikeouts. I don't love him, but I can get on board. I can also get on board with Ian Anderson. I'm a big Ian Anderson fan. The spot is risky for sure. He wasn't great before he got hurt, but I'm a big fan of this guy's stuff. I think he's one of the better young pitchers in baseball. So at this price point, he's in play for me, regardless of the matchup. GPP only, though, I think. Fleming, no. Fetty, no. Well, Fetty, he was awesome last time out. Yeah. I mean, I'm not buying that. Not that I'm excited about the Mets. I don't think he's the craziest player in the world, but nah. I actually like McGill more. Coming off a rough start last time out against the Giants. He just faced them the start before that, too. Now he gets this cushy spot against the Nationals at home. I mean, it's all about picking on the Nats. It's not like I love McGill, but I don't think he's the craziest play in the world. There aren't many cheap options, I think, that are viable here. Will Crow is not good, so I'm not using him. Jack, same thing. Chris Archer is he's going to be limited to about 75 pitches. He's cheap. So I don't think you're crazy. I know yesterday he was listed as an opener. I don't think I don't know what the case is here. I'm not sure what the exact deal with Archer is, but I wouldn't feel too safe with it. I'd expect him to throw 70 pitches max with potential for a lot less than that. Ranger Suarez, good last time out. Wasn't good against Arizona. The start before that was very good last time out against the Rays. Cheap. So that's the point with Suarez, is he's really, really cheap. 6K. Definitely don't feel excited about it. But, man, the options on the slate are not good. And like I said, he's 6K. Let me see one thing real quick. Yeah, Suarez at this price point, actually not the craziest play in the world. Aaron Ashby used him a couple times. First when he got absolutely lit up, his first start, and then he's been a lot better in the start since then. So at 5'8", Council just does not stretch these guys at all. So I don't think the upside's really there, but I don't think he's crazy either. Although the more I look at it, the more I like Suarez, just because we know he's stretched out. Luzardo, I think, is a boom bust GPP option. Hold on 1 second, guys. Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about that, guys. We just had company over here, and I asked my wife to not have them sit outside, but what do you know? They're sitting outside, of course. So if you hear a little noise in the background, I am sorry about that. All righty. So as far as Luzardo goes, he's been trash. I mean, he's a guy I've liked to pick on, and the red stack is high on my priority list today. But I also think that he's in play. I mean, in deep tournaments, we know that his stuff is real. He's shown moments for sure. And at 5,600, you're taking a shot, but obviously the risk is minimal for sure. All right. So as far as pitching options go, I like the top guys. If I'm spending down, it looks like Ranger Suarez is my guy right now. I think Chris Archer is probably safe-ish, but man, I'm not excited about that at all. Yeah, what's up with Kim? Yeah, I'm not interested in Kim here. I mean, we've seen good starts from him, but I just think that the other options are more in play for me. All righty. So after that, let's talk some offenses. So Cardinals and Pirates. Kim against Crow. I think the Cardinals are definitely in play here. Not really looking at the Pirates. As far as the Cardinals go, let's see one thing, guys. So as far as St. Louis goes, I think they're in play. I'm not excited about them in this ballpark. I know they went off last night. If you want to spend up and stack these guys, I get it. Goldie, Arenado, Edman leading off has been red hot. I mean, check the game log: double digits in 5 straight, 6 of 7, 8 of 9. He is just absolutely balling right now. Yeah, leading off at 4,200, I think he looks like one of the better value bats on the slate for sure. In play in all formats, no doubt. All righty, 1 second, guys. Does look like McGill is coming in with a ton of ownership as far as SPs go, which is interesting. Not that surprising, but interesting if nothing else. All right, so Philly and Arizona. Bumgarner against Suarez. Man, I don't think Suarez is like some elite starter. So if you're not using Suarez, I don't think that Arizona's crazy here. 11-game slate, though, they're not going to be where I want to stack. That's for sure. As far as Philly goes against Bumgarner, see one thing. I'm checking the BBP quickly. Awful BVP. Not that I'm not using them because of that, but I wanted to see if anything stood out. I think Philly is like an outside stack today. I mean, they're not going to get a ton of love, but Bumgarner's been better lately, even though he wasn't great last time out. Philly is not going to be a priority for me here. Tampa and Baltimore. Looks like Tampa's coming in as the highest owned stack on the slate, and it makes sense. Spencer Watkins is absolute trash. He's just not good. I mean, check the game log, negative in 3 straight. Hasn't hit double digits in like 6 starts. Had that one good start against these Rays. So, you know, as chalk, it's not like impossible to think they don't succeed here in tournaments. But in cash games, I think you want a ton of exposure to these guys. You know, Brandon Lau, Nelson Cruz is not in the lineup today. You know, you got cheap Luplow. Rosarena's cheap. He homered last night as chalk. I imagine he'll get a lot of love again today. You know, the whole lineup's in play. Meadows, Wendell, 4,100. They're just all in play. Zunino hitting 6. He's expensive, but he's got a lot of power. And as far as Baltimore goes, I don't think Baltimore's like the craziest stack in the world. I mean, who is Chris Archer? That's a good question. I'm not excited about stacking the Orioles here, though. Their prices got increased a little bit. Mullins at 5K is a tough sell for me here, unless I'm like going balls to the walls on Baltimore. Santander. I mean, these guys are still pretty cheap. Stewart. I don't mind the Baltimore stack, but not my first priority. All right, moving on. So we got Cincy and Miami. So I already talked about this game a little bit. I'm not interested in Miami at all here. Maui is my favorite pitcher on the slate. Good matchup. He's been great on the road. No thanks on the Marlins. As far as the Reds go, this is a boomer bust spot. If I'm not like using Luzardo in a deep GPP, I have a lot of interest in the Reds. I mean, their lineup looks great. Castellanos, one of my favorite hitters on the slate. Aquino and Naquin, cheap guys at the bottom of the lineup. Suarez, really affordable with power against lefties. India leading off, he's affordable. They're just too cheap. So I thought maybe they might get more love than they are. They're not getting a lot of love, though, which makes me like them a lot in tournaments. All righty. So, yeah, the whole Reds lineup is in play for me, and I hope they come in underowned. Mets and Nationals. Eric Fetty against McGill. So McGill got hit around last time out, but I expect a bounce back here, and the Nationals just suck. So not interested in stacking them here. Just not interested in it. I mean, I guess the leverage is real if you want to use like Soto, et cetera, but not for me. And as far as the Mets go, Fetty is hit or miss. I don't hate the Mets here, but they're definitely not going to be like my favorite stack on the board. I feel like one of these games they go off, so I don't think it's crazy at all, but just probably not where I land. All right, sorry guys. All right, Red Sox and Indians. So we've got Eli Morgan. Finally got it right against Tanner Houck. Hold on one second, guys. All right, sorry about that, guys. I am back with you. Sorry about that break. Hopefully you guys can bear with me here. Got some company outside in there making hella noise, and it's distracting the shit out of me. So sorry about that. Let's keep on trucking. So as far as the Red Sox and Indians game goes, Houck against Morgan. Morgan's certainly not in play for me. Houck, a deep GPP call. The Red Sox stack, definitely in play for me against Morgan. They're getting love, so another one where I think that cash games are probably more priorities. Schwarber looks like a really, really good look at 5,200. I'm sure he'll get love. He deserves it. Martinez finally got going yesterday. This stack makes sense. Verdugo hitting fifth. He's really cheap. They got some cheap guys. Devers is obviously expensive. Dahlback, massive power. I could see stacking the Red Sox. They're not my favorite stack on the board, but they're getting love, so I think that they're fine looking cash games with the Rays. And if you want to do your thing in tournaments, I mean, it's a big enough slate where you can kind of go with whatever you want. All righty. Jays and Tigers. We've got Barrios against Matt Boyd. Pretty sure some of these Tigers have really good numbers against Barrios. Yeah, Grossman's like 5-9, Castro's 5-8. I mean, not that that's like anything where I'm scared of Barrios or using those guys, but just worth noting. I mentioned about Barrios. He's on my short list for sure. I don't feel as like safe or cozy with it as I'd like to because I used him earlier this year when he was with the Twins in Detroit. He like didn't get a strikeout. He was not good. He hasn't been good on the road, so I'm a little bit hesitant here, but he's more in play for me than the Tigers. The Blue Jays are definitely in play. They haven't been great. Another letdown yesterday when they were really, really chalky. Looks like they're coming in with a little bit less ownership today. Matt Boyd is a bigger name. I can get on board with this stack again. Vlad, Teoscar, Simeon, Bichette, Kirk. Those are the main five guys. Their lineup weakens big time after that, but yeah, firmly in play for me. All formats. Braves and Giants. Desclafani and Ian Anderson. The Braves are interesting here. Desclafani, I mean, he's had his really good moments this year, but it hasn't come for a while. He has not been great his past 4 starts at least. Let's check the BBP here. Jock is 6-14. Freeman's 4-13. Albie's 2-3. I mean, so nothing like crazy, nothing great, but yeah, the Braves are more in play for me than Desclafani for sure. I actually think the Braves are an intriguing deep GPP stack just with how good they are and how bad Desclafani's been recently. Brave stack certainly in play for me. And then as far as the Giants and Anderson go, I like the Anderson side more, but I can't hate on someone for liking the Giants because they're just really good. So I like Anderson more. If you like the Giants, do your thing. Cubs and White Sox, Hendricks versus Cease. Cease widely in play for me. A little bit riskier than I'd like. And if you want to look at a Patrick Wisdom who is just – he's on fire right now. 5 homers over his last 3 games. Yeah, is it over his last 4 games? But he's got 4 homers over the past 2. Yeah, 5 over the past 4. I get that as a one-off, but Cease highly in play for me. As far as the White Sox go, Hendricks is not great. He's actually been better on the road. Not that this is like a big road game, but he's certainly not in play for me. The White Sox, I can see going to, but I think they're just going to come in a little bit over-owned. So Mancada looks like a great cash game look at 3,900. We'll have to wait and see how their lineup shakes out. But Robert hitting second at 3,900, Mancada. These guys are too cheap. So they make some sense for sure. I think they're in cash games right there with Tampa and Boston, just in a little bit of a tougher spot. All righty. Milwaukee and Minnesota. Griffin Jacks against Aaron Ashby. So Jacks is not very good. He's had his moments, but he was awful last time out against Boston. He doesn't strike anyone out. Milwaukee's coming in with a lot of love, and it makes sense. They're also really affordable. Adames, Yelich, both under 5K. We've seen these guys really pricey over the past few weeks, and today they're not. Colton Wong leading off at 36. They got cheap pieces all over that add the DH. Milwaukee looks like one of the better cash game stacks with Boston and Tampa. I guess the White Sox are kind of after them. So the White Sox are in between cash and tournament in my mind. You can play them in cash games, but you don't force them in. And you don't have to fade them in tournaments at all. You can play them if you want in tournaments, but they're not a must for me anywhere. Milwaukee looks like a really good cash game stack. I think that with their cheap prices, they look like the fit with Boston and Tampa. And Minnesota against Ashby, they're getting more love than they should. I respect Ashby. He's one of the better arms, better young arms in all baseball. So not excited about picking on him. We've seen him get lit up. So if you want to plant your flag on the Twins, do your thing. It's just not for me. Last but not least, we've got Houston, the Astros at Texas, Greinke against Taylor Hearn and what is presumably a bullpen game. Although Hearn went 5 innings last time out and the time before that. He's pitching okay right now, but this is just not a good spot for him. Houston coming in very, very low owned, like much lower owned than they should. And that's happened the past 2 games. They have not been great the past 2 games, but I'll go right back here. I've been heavy on Houston. Alvarez is 6K. I like him a lot. I'm hoping that the lefty on lefty matchup keeps his ownership down. He looks locked in. Their lineup just is awesome right now with Bregman back and Tucker back. Now they're expensive. They're more expensive today. Altuve's over 6K. Correa 5K. Gurriel 54. So they're tough to get to, but that's just going to keep their ownership down. So I like them a lot in tournaments. In cash games, I think the other teams I mentioned are better looks. That is what I got for you guys today. Sorry about the distractions. Sorry for having to stop the videos. It is chaotic over here. Again, ask my wife to keep the company inside. They go right outside, so nothing I can do. We'll be right back at it tomorrow. Hopefully Ryan will be with me. Either way, let's crush it today. Thank you as always. Appreciate you guys, and talk to you later.